So today we'll continue the activities whatever we stopped yesterday. Venkat, this Saturday and Sunday you will be available, right?
Saturday, when you start, that means my night time, right? Actually, so this Friday may not be possible for me. I'm talking about onset time.
Okay. I mean, if I'm saying my Saturday 8 to 10.
Can we do it on Sunday? Saturday, actually, so I told you now, so I booked the certification
Okay.
schedule. So actually, so Friday I may get a little time to
Okay, no problem.
revise all the topics actually. So that's what I'm requesting you. So can we do it on Sunday?
My Sunday you are saying?
Yeah, your Sunday morning. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. So we'll try to complete on that day everything.
Yeah, if you want 2 hours also, I'm able to sit with you.
Yeah, we'll see 2 to 3 hours and we'll close it.
So you want to complete everything in this week?
Yeah.
Are you going to start new batch?
that will be there always.
Okay.
Venkat, at this moment, no new batches. Actually, very less students inquiries.
Hey?
In US, something this elections are going on.
Oh, ramp down time and elections. Got it.
Yes. It's affect IT a lot. No new projects coming, no students coming.
Okay. So yesterday we discussed about this precondition, right? So it's nothing but before executing this method. So this precondition is executed, and we have some different configurations here based on the requirement. We need to choose if something is true, what you want to achieve. If the condition is false, what you want to do. So you can do it like this. Now then we have methods. We have a lot of methods. Nearly 50 to 60 methods are there. This is all are out of the box methods only. So here what I will do is to explain all the things is not possible. Whichever is mostly used in the logic, I will explain that. I will give demo directly here, and you can also go through rest of them by going through help here. And if you have any doubts in using them, we'll discuss that. So to get help and methods, here we'll get all the methods. You can go through that. On step wise, I will discuss the methods one by one anyway. So coming to description, description nothing but just like a comment whatever you want to do here. So you can give some proper description about what you are doing in this method. And this is called transition step. So this transition step is useful basically to handle the exceptions. So how it is useful is, so this precondition will be executed before the method execution. But this transition, we call it as a transition step, not the jump. So we need to remove the terminology. This transition step will be executed after the method execution. So here basically same conditions will be there. So whatever the precondition we have, same conditions will be there, and you can also see an exception. If some exception happens on this step, if you want to take any precaution steps, let's say exception happened here, So during OBJ save, while we're committing the data, some exception happen. And on exception, what you can do, so you can jump to exception step somewhere, and in the exception step, you can take the precaution steps. You can give exceptions, so you can do something rollback, or you can do OBJ save cancel. So whatever the precaution step you want to take for that action, you can do this step. And there is one more thing called here, we can check whether my method status. Whether if the method is successful, generally the method will return the status good. So there are out of the box when rules are available, we can check them like step status good, step status failed, step status warning is there. So good means if there is no errors, everything is good. So you can check like it is just like a confirmation whether this method is successfully executed or not. If it is successfully executed, the method will return the good status. So if this is good, so whatever you want to do, you can do again here. The same thing available, whatever we have seen the precondition, same actions are available. So this is like reconfirming the methods. Whether whatever the logic we are doing, we can reconfirm it here. If something is good, or you can also write your own when rule to check whether your old values or new values or whatever it may be. So to just confirm whatever the logic you are doing here, to just confirm that, you can use the transition. And on exceptions, to handle the exceptions also, we handle the transition step. And then coming to this step is, step is nothing but a context. So in which context you are running the OBJs, these methods. If you don't give any step page, it will run, the method will execute in the context of primary page. So the primary page will always become the apply. So if I don't give anything here, so if I use this activity in the case, then py workpage is your primary page. So if I don't give anything, the py workpage in the py workpage context will execute, because in the primary page for the case is py workpage. Okay, if you give any page name here, in that context will execute. If you don't give any page name, always the primary page will become the step page, which is nothing but a applies to class page. Wherever the applies to class is there, this is the applies to class. So with this class, with some page will be there. So generally that is nothing but a py work page. With that page it will execute. Okay, so the context will, and moreover, if you run the same activity in the repeat grid, the grid page will become your primary page. So where you are running this activity, based on that, the primary page will be changing. If you are running this activity in the normal flow processing, in the flow action somewhere, so py work page will be your primary page. If you are running the same activity in the repeat grid, so then in the repeat grid we will be having number of rows. So it will be running on the row context. So in which row you are executing this, that particular row will become the step page if you don't mention anything. So you need to see, whether you are getting the correct context or not, and you can check that. Well, you need to debug it. If you're getting everything fine, that is fine. If it's not, you need to debug it to set the correct context here. Okay. Now we will see one by one method. We'll start with the page methods. So what I will do is, it will take a lot of time to execute the activities through the case, because for each method I cannot run the case. So I will run the activity directly from here. So in the actions I will have a run method. I will directly do it here only. But functional wise everything will be same. But here when I run it from the when I run it manually, the step page will become the run record primary page. So internally system create run record primary page. With that context, system the activity will be running. Okay.
And
now, yeah.
Subhash, can you show it to me how could we refer the activities from the from flows or steps?
Yeah, I will show you. So once we discuss that, I will give
stages or cases. Okay.
I will give
And
two examples.
yeah, and one more question is how could we pass the input parameters? How could we get the output from the activity? And one more is can we implement any Java method and refer from the activity?
Java methods.
Yeah.
Java, you are saying? Yeah, we can write Java. Again, that is not recommended, but I will show you how to do that one, Java coding.
Please show it, because all the business requirements not possible to go with the product, right? Sometimes we may have to go with the customization.
Yeah, first we'll start with page methods. So in the page methods, we'll have a couple of methods here in the page. So we'll start with page new. So the main aim of this page new is to create the top level page. So what page you want to create? So you know, to mention the page name here. So let's say I want to create a new customer. Let's say new customer is there. So this is STM. So mine is correct only, right? So here, if I don't give page name here, it will create the applies to class page, applies to primary page. So, but here we need to give which page you want to create. So I'm setting the context here. So I want to create a top level page of type with the name new customer of type this data customer. Once I set this, if you want to, so when I do this one, system will automatically create top level page. Let me run it. So it will, when I run it from the activity, it will run in the standard thread context. So let me run it. You can also verify here in which context it is running. So it is running in the standard thread context. So run it and go to clipboard. So everything how we can verify the success of this activity is through clipboard only. So go to clipboard. Somewhere you can see new this top level page will be there. So what is that page name? New customer. So somewhere new customer, you can see a new customer is there. So new customer you can see, and you can see the applies to class is STM data customer. So when I click on this, you can see it is empty right now, no properties are there. But if you see some other properties, you can see some other properties will be there on the page. So you can see some other properties are there. If you want to set the properties like that, once a page is created, so generally without page creation you cannot, if the page is not available on the clipboard, you cannot set the values on the property. First you need to make sure that page is available or not, then set the property set. So again you need to say to which page you are setting the property. So obviously I'm setting here new customer, so to mention the context here and then write it first name, so no properties are there here. Oh, maybe this one. Okay, let me give this class. Dot.
The class is the which class is it? Is it a database class?
Data class.
Data class. Okay. Data class of customer.
Yeah, data class customer. Data customer is there, right? This is data class. Application data. So I'm setting some test name here. So again here you can hard code the values, or else you can use some other expressions. So whatever we discussed in the data transforms, everything will be applicable here. So like this you can set values on the page. So if you see here the context, if you see, if I give the new customer here, when I add the property, when I give dot notation, You can see the context here. So it is the properties are displaying from this class data customer. It's not displaying from the work class because I'm setting the context here. But if you want to set, if you want to get some properties from the applies to class, you can use the word primary. The primary will be, the word primary will always talks about, that will always, it will always point to the applies to class. So if you want to get any properties, let's say some properties are there, some email address something is in the, on the applies to class page. So if you want to copy from there, so you can use primary keyword. The primary keyword will always point to the work class. So select it and do like something like this. So if you want to get the values from the primary class, from the applies to class, you can use primary when the context is when the context is in some other page. So I mean, if you don't give any context, obviously it will be in the applies to class only. But here the context is new customer, but I want to get the data from the applies to class. In that case, you can use primary. If the context is same as applies to class, no need to set anything. Okay, if you give something like this, do not give primary keyword because it will be running in the context of same applies to class. You can see when I give dot, is coming from a work only. So here also, if I give dot, is coming from work only. Okay, now let's see, save it, run it. Success, clipboard, new customer. You can see the first name, last name is set. Okay. Now, so page change class. If you want to change the class, I mean under runtime. So under the design time, I'm setting the class name as new data customer. Under runtime, if you want to change the class, you can use page change class. Just mention the page name here, and just mention the new class name here. Automatically, page the class name will be changed. That is very straightforward. And page we will see first page set messages. So this will be useful to set the messages on the page. So if you want to set some messages on the page, you can use page set messages. If you want to comment any method during execute, if you don't want to execute any method during runtime, you can make that as a comment. This is the notation for the commenting any method. So this page set messages will be useful to set the message, general message on the page. So generally this will be done based on some condition. Let's say here the first name is for use test. I want to set the message. So here I'm saying new customer dot. You can write the when rule, or else you can also write expression as I said to the test. If it is true, otherwise skip step. So here what I am doing, if the when rule is true, I want to set the messages. So what are the message you want to set? You can mention here. First name should not be test, but obviously it will become true because I'm manually setting the value as a test. So it is the when rule becomes true. So now you can see error message on that page. Now let me execute it once again. See, when the message is there on the page will become in red color. So you can, it's already in red color. So you can click on that. See, this is the first name should not be test. I'm getting the error message. That means that it's executing precondition. So let's say now I'm changing the this one to test 1. So now the when rule will become fail. Now there won't be any error message on the page because the when rule will become true. When the when rule becomes true, it will become, we are skipping the step. We are not executing it. So run it again. Run it. Clipboard. Is letter. So already we have some validation on this page. Maybe that is executing now. Let me remove that. Yes, here we have validation. See, the step page is done. So this is not executing now because it is skipping the step and it's not setting the error message on the page. Because this is just test one. So even if you set the error message, let's say I'm making again to test, and then for some reason I want to clear the error messages manually. I want to manually clear the error messages. So you can use page clear messages. Page clear messages are there. Page clear messages are there. You can use that one. Page clear messages. So this will be useful to clear the message that is there on the page. So you need to mention the page name on which page you want to clear. So now what happens, even if you set the error messages, that will be cleared automatically here. By the time the activity completes its execution, you won't see any error messages. By the third step, I mean by the time you execute a fourth step, error message will be there. But again, by the time you execute fifth step, error message will be removed. So this will be useful if you want to remove existing error messages for your logic, then you can use this one, otherwise not required. You can see even if the first name is test, you cannot see the error message because we are clearing the error message by the time you execute the fifth step. Okay, that is page clear messages. In the page methods, one is most important one is page copy. So page copy will be used as the name indicate you want to copy the data from one page to other page. Let's say from new customer. So you want to copy to some other page name called new customer data, let's say. So customer data is also of same type. This is two different pages. I want to copy the data from one page to other page. In that case, you can use this one. And whatever we achieved using this activity, we can achieve same thing using the data transform. That is why here accept this page set messages. So I will come to that point once we execute this. Save success clipboard. You can see the data with new page, new data customer. You can see customer data. It's the same data is there. So I'm just copying this new customer into data customer data. So it's copying to new page. So for the page copy, we can use page copy method. So whatever the methods we use for the page so far, so all the page messages for that matter, we can achieve the same thing using the data transforms. We don't need activities for that. So that is why you can see the warnings became true here right now, saying that. So using quoted text and the message not displayed localized. So this error message is not localized string, that is fine. So we can set the property set using set action in the data transform. So we can copy the data from one page to other page. This is also we can do. The only missing part we cannot do in the activities in the data transform is setting the messages. But we can set the messages using the some other validation rules. So that is why we don't require activities to achieve this. Whatever we have done so far, activities are not required to achieve this. We can achieve the same thing using some other rules. Okay. Now we will see property methods. So we have seen the property set. We will see some other methods called property map decision table. So if you want to call the decision table and if you want to store the result, you can use property map decision table. Let's say here I want to call decision table. No decision table is there. So let me save as this into quote. Is this our application only? Warranty management. Okay. Let me go to climb or product climb so that it will be easy. In the product climb we have some data transforms is some decision tables are there, so we will use that one. So if you want to execute the decision tables, already we have seen how to execute the decision tables through flow rule. If you want to execute the decision tables through activities, you can use property map decision table. So you can there are 4 to 5 methods are there to call the corresponding methods. Property map decision table, property map decision tree, map value, value pair. So all these are useful to call the corresponding decision rules. So here I am saying decision property map decision table. You need to give the decision table name. So is warrant expired? The decision table is there. Is warrant expired? So this will be executed, and whatever the output is there, whatever the output is coming, you can set the output into some property. So here I am creating one more property called DT result. This is a text property. I am making it create and close. So for this warrant expired, we need some properties we need to set, because for this we need is warrant expired or not, we need to set this value. So let me set the value here in the property set. So here I am setting primary dot is what is coming invalid value for the table pass to property map decision table. Let me save it. This is fine. Primary dot dt, sorry, is warrant expired. Where is that? So I am manually setting the value as true. So if it is true, it will take this value is the input for the decision table. So it will take the input. When it is true, I know that it will return yes. So now the DT result should become yes here. So now my output should be, the DT result should be yes. Let's execute it and see. Let me comment these things, other things. These are not required for me. Run it. Run. Some error is there. This is the error. 1 second. Here we don't require this. Product details dot price. Okay, so it's saying we are setting some other properties here, the decision table. So we are increasing the prices, but these details are not there on the clipboard. That is why it's showing this page is not there. So it's just doing an error. So for now I will remove this, or else you can also set these values. Display decision table, and now we'll execute without any issues. Run it. Success. Clipboard. Now go to, now I didn't give any step page for any step page here and here as well. That means it will be running in the primary page. So here the primary page will become the run record primary page. You can see run record primary page is there. Go there and you can see is warrant expired. I manually set it as true, but you can see the DT result is yes. So this is coming after executing the decision table. I am not setting any result for the DT result. This is setting the value based on decision table execution. Okay, but like this, if you want to execute from decision table, if you want to execute decision table from the activity, you can see something like this. And then property map decision value, everything is same. Then property remove. So we have page remove, property remove. Let's say, so page remove will be useful to remove the page. So let's say I have page remove. So page remove will be useful to remove any clipboard pages on the any top level page from the clipboard. So you need to mention the page name. If you want to remove more than one page, so what you can do, you can just mention the page names more than one pages here. New customer data. So you can mention all the page names here. If the page is available, it will remove it. If the page is not available, there won't be any impact of this method. So it won't throw any errors, even the page is available or not available. See, it will simply remove it. So if you want to remove entire page, you can use this one. The same if you want to remove a particular property from the clipboard. Property from the clipboard, property remove will be there. Property remove. So you can use this one to remove the property. So this is remove the particular property from the clipboard, from the page. This is a remove entire page. Okay, let's see the top one. This is very straightforward. Run it, run success clipboard. Now you can see new customer is gone, no new customer here, and you can see customer data is also gone, no customer data here. It's removed, everything is removed. Okay, and then we have property set, some property set methods are there. Property set HTML correspondence as message, property set message is same as property page set messages. Here we're setting a message to the property. That is the one difference. So this property set correspondence, property set HTML, property set XML, all these will be useful to set a corresponding rule data into a property. That means HTML is a rule, XML is also a rule, like the corresponding is also a rule. If you want to set the rule data into a property, you can use property set HTML. Let's say here I am using again same DT result. I want just, so here we have HTML stream rules are there. So let's say my HTML I'm creating, on stream rule I'm creating, so I'm creating one HTML rule here. So whatever the content I'm writing in the HTML rule, so that will be copied into a property. This will be useful basically if you want to send some output in the XML, if you want to send output in the XML or output in the HTML, something, you can set the value to a property and you can set it as output. So this is HTML, but that is very rarely used, these methods. And then body, so let's say paragraph test. So this is the simple content I am using in HTML. So now this content will be copied into this, all the content will be copied into a property. So here I am setting property set HTML, property set XML, property set corresponding. All these methods will be useful to set the corresponding rule content. Run it, success, clipboard. It's running in the primary page again, run record primary page. You can see DT result is the content of my rule. HTML body, something like this. Okay, in that case you can use property set HTML. Now we will see OBJ methods. So OBJ methods will be useful. So all the OBJ methods will run on the objects. So OBJ browse. So OBJ browse will be useful to get the multiple results from the database. Let's say, so let me remove all this.
Subhash, one question. So you took the decision table response into DT result, right?
Yes.
The property, did we create it here or else is it already defined property?
We created now only, right? We created here only. The data result is not there, that we created.
Can we give any name instead of DT result?
Yeah, you can give any name. It's just a property, after all a property.
Okay.
So if you open the property, DT result, just like text property.
Mm.
So if you open that, you can see it's a text property now. I just given the name something to make sense.
Got it.
So this OBJ browse will be useful to get the multiple records from the database. So this will be all OBJ methods, some OBJ methods will work on the database directly. So OBJ browse will be useful to get the multiple records. I am saying multiple records from the database. So let's say I am maintaining product data in the database. So if you open the product class, you can open the database as well. Data, product info, product. So this is the class, and if you open the definition, and this is mapped to some database table. Obviously, let's say I want to get the data from this database table using activities. So this is mapped to SRSTM data product. Let me open the database table. So STM STP or PR, is it PR STM? Yeah, this one. So you can see the data records. This year records 16 records. So if you want to get all this data from the using activities, you can write here something like this. So you want to store the data. So I'm saying product list as my page. I'm creating top level page, and this is of type code packer list because I have multiple records. So to create a page list at runtime, we'll use the class name as code packer list. And then in this code packer list we have results. So results property, we want to store the multiple results. So this is a multiple. This is of type. So this is a page list property, something like code packer list. So px results, each result is of type product. STM data product. So something you need to define in the place and classes. And then so this product here you need to mention where you want to store it. So I want to store in this page. Okay, and what type of object it is. So I want to store the objects of this class. You have to mention the class name here. And what are the properties you want to get. So this is get_row is not required. This is only for the Pega database tables. So this is also not required. And you can mention what is the maximum number of records you want to do. So here I don't have any requirement to get certain number of records. So you can mention here which properties you need. PYID, PY label, let's say, and then price. I want to get only these three properties, let's say. So save it and run it. Now you can see this, the get data will be get. So you have 16 records in the database. That means you will see 16 records. Run it. Success. About standard. Go to somewhere. You can see product list. You can see product list is there. Expand that. You can see PX results are coming. So you can expand that. You can see 16 results are there. So each one is a one record. PYID, price, or PY label. So you have 16 products, all 16 products are coming. This is how you can get the data from the database. And I will also show you how to get the data, this data, and how to show it on the UI, and I will show you in the actual demo. So this is OBJ browse. Now OBJ delete. So this is straightforward. If you want to delete any particular record from the database, you need to delete OBJ delete, but make sure that so whatever you need to mention the page name here. So for OBJ you need to mention the page name. That page name should contain the primary key value of the class. So let's say you want to create some certain page property. So here PYID is the primary, is the key for this. So let's say from this what I will do, I want to record the first record. Let's say from the product list. From the product list, I want to remove the first record. Okay. So what is the first record in the clipboard? that will be it will be deleted permanently from the database, not like from the clipboard, remove from the database directly. So here product list, standard thread, and product list here, speaks results. So here the first record is 19H334. This will be removed from the database. Let's verify that. So I mean, whichever the page you are deleting, that page should contain the key value. Then that will, the system will take the key value and try to search in the database and delete it. Okay, otherwise it's just through an error. Success. Now go to clipboard first. Let's verify here is removed in this one or not. Product list, PX results. Here is there 19H334. Now let's go to database. Let me refresh it. Here we have maybe it's not committed, so we can expand it here. So immediate and remove. This saying lock is there on the page. So to get the lock on any page, you can use OBJ refresh and lock. So I mean, I'm locking it first and then I'm deleting, because while deleting, I don't want anybody do the changes on that. So that is why I'm acquiring the lock on that page and then I'm deleting it. So that's what system is saying. Run it. Run. It is success now. Go to database and refresh the data. Now you can see 15, not 16. That is 19H114 is deleted. Okay, you need to delete. If you want to delete any particular record, you need to make sure that the primary key, the key value is available. It may be any primary key or any unique key. So the key value should be available on the page. Then you can remove it. Then OBJ delete by handle. This is also same thing. The only difference here is, so OBJ delete will be useful for any database table. It may be external database table, it may be internal database table. For any database table, you can use OBJ delete. But OBJ delete by handle will be useful to delete only data from the internal tables. So OBJ delete by handle will expect PGDNS key. PGDNS key is a primary key for all internal tables. So you need to pass the PGDNS key, and then automatically that particular record will be deleted. OBJ filter will be useful. So let's say I have some records are there in my page in the page list. So you need to remember here it will be OBJ filter will be applicable to filter the instance of the list. To filter the instances of the list. So I have some list, you want to filter it. So you can give the list page here. So here the list page is this one, let's say. And then result class is this one. Now I want to filter if the price is more than 1000. So I want to filter all the products which has filter more than 1000. So price more greater than 1000. I'm creating this when rule. I'm just writing a simple when rule here. Double click it, add the conditions, edit. Here price is greater than or equal to 1000. I want to return true. So now I will get only if the price is more than 1000, then only I want to keep it. Otherwise I want to filter them. So here you can do something like this. Okay, the error here is I think this is the error. Okay, now let me run it. You need to go the page list class, page list page name, and then the class, and then the result. Now you can see only now I am filtering this page list with the condition. So wherever the price is more than 10,000, only those list will be retained. Rest of the pages will be removed. So let me run it again. Run success clipboard. The data is once the page list is available on the clipboard, you can pass that value as the. So now you can see only 6 are coming because the remaining 15 are removed, because here you can see the price is more than 1000 for everything. So only more than 1000 records, only more than if the price is more than 1000, then only I am retaining them. Otherwise I am filtering them. That is called filter. OBJ sort is also same thing. OBJ filter, OBJ open will be useful to open the record from the database. Here also you need to provide the key. Let's say we want to open any particular record. Let's say I want to open one product. New product is there. So the new product, this is of type product only. So I want to open particular product. So for that we know that we need to pass the. I want to store that result in the new product, and then the class name is obviously this one. And then what is the key value? You need to provide it here. So this is the key value, the key property, and then so why it is getting right? So we are not directly interacting with the database. We are interacting with the class. The class is making interaction with the database. So all the OBJ methods internally generally will use the Hibernate concepts. It won't interact directly with the database. It will interact with the class, and class will anyway interact with database. Every class is connected to database. It will run indirectly in the database only. You need to provide the PYID. Let me take one ID here from this again. So this is PYID. So this is the product. I'm just hard code for now here. I'm pausing. PYID here. Product ID. And now let me comment these things. This is not required for me now. Run it. Now on the clipboard you can see success clipboard new product. Somewhere else you can see new product. Now you can see all the information is coming for that product. PYID, I'm just passing PYID, but it's getting remaining all the details. Category, manufacturer, model number, price, everything is coming. If you want to open a single record, you can use OBJ open. If you want to get multiple records, you can go for OBJ browse. OBJ open by handle is also same thing as I mean it is useful for the useful for the Pega related tables. It is also for a single record only, but it will be useful for the in Pega internal tables. You need to pass PZ key as the parameter and get the details. Okay, so this is about we have one more thing called OBJ save. So I will give OBJ save as a separate demo topic, how to save the data into database from the case. I will give demo just straightforward. As the name indicates, if you want to save the data into database, like you can use OBJ save. So here what we will do is, so whatever the products he is adding in the product claim, I want to store those details in a separate database table. So I have some database table. Let's say here I have some database table. I want to store the data in this database table. This is my own database table, claimed products. So here I want to store the data. I want to store the claim ID and then customer name and what are the products he is claiming. So I want to store these details into database. So how to do that one, that we will see in the actual demo. I will integrate with the case. At the time I will give you that one. But the main aim of this OBJ save is to save the data into database. And if you want to cancel the save, so for some reason if you want to cancel this, cancel the save. So whatever the save you have done, so if you want to cancel that, you can cancel that one. It's nice kind of, so when you use OBJ save, it will be in the transient state. It's not like committed. So OBJ save is different than commit. OBJ save is nothing but it will save the data. It will be ready. It will be in the transient state. So before commit, somebody cancel it will be cancelled. But once you commit, you cannot cancel it. So once the data is committed, so commit is the database transaction. Once you commit into database, we cannot do anything. At the time, we can go for a rollback. If you go for rollback, so it will roll back the first commit transactions. Okay, rollback is discard the changes.
Subhash, do you have immediate operation for OBS7?
Yeah, we have immediate right now. So that is not recommended. You can manually commit it. So I mean, when you do immediately, you don't have option to save it if you do to cancel it again. Okay, with that you need to depends on the.
What is the OBS method to commit?
OBS?
Is there any standard method is there to commit the data?
We have commit method is there.
Directly commit. Okay.
Is commit. Okay, that is about OBS methods. Now we will see one by one, starting with first call. Call method will be useful to call the other activities. So it just gives call space and then use some space and click down arrow to display all the activities in the inheritance path. So you can select whichever the activity you want to call, just select that one. Okay, and then this main method, this main activity will wait until the sub method execution and it will execute it. So branch. So branch is also useful, same thing. So it will also useful for for calling the activities only. So call and branch both will be useful to activities, but the main difference is in the call the control comes back, in the branch control won't comes back. So here whatever the data you are executing in this activity, that will be available for the main activity. But in the branch, so once we are branching the activity, that means that it won't come back again. It's done. Once the branch activity is done, that's done. It won't, control won't comes back again. That is the branch difference. But most of the times we'll use call only. So Java, if you want to write a Java coding, you can use Java coding here. So for this, basically you need to know engine, Pega engine. Otherwise you cannot write any Java coding. So you can go to help again for this. Not here. You can use main help. So here in the help, you can see references, you can see Java coding, public Java.doc API. So this is a complete API the Pega is using. So you need to understand this API first, then only you can use the Java code. If you want to create a clipboard page or you want to set some properties on the page, you need to analyze this, then only you can use Java coding. Otherwise, you cannot use Java coding. For that you need some expertise on Pega first sometime. So let's say, so here I want to find some page. Let's say here OBS page, I am opening this, and then on this page I want to set some other. Right now if you open standard new product is there, new product. So here the price is at 879. Now I want to set it to 1000 using Java coding. So what you can do, just you can find the page. First I need to find the page. So here for that, so I wanted to find the page, we have certain methods in the engine. So you need to find that, go to clipboard page. In the clipboard page we will be having some methods, find page, something will be there. Find, not here, in the tools. Runtime, that topic API here, find page will be there. So this is the find page. So Pega won't give you any help while writing the, while writing the Java coding. System won't give any help. So you need to do everything. Tools. This is a tools will always point to this is object. This object will always point to the public API. So public runtime is there. So public API is there. The tools keyword, it is object of the public API. So you will find, you can use all the methods which are available in the public API. Here just I am finding the page. First of all, a new product. I'm searching it whether this page is available or not. Comment, and then if the page is available, I want to, if temp page is not equal to null, and then I want to set some value to the property. So then I want to find the property in this. You can directly use tools dot get property or get page. First of all, we'll use get page will be there here. Get. So we can use the same thing. Find page, and then we go to properties. Get property. Property. Where is that? Where is the clipboard page? Clipboard page. Now go to pub. Clipboard page. So get properties there. Get integral. Get double. Get page. And then get property. I will use this get property. So here I need to mention rules temporary page dot property. This property name is price, and then I want to set the value. Say 100,000. That's how you can write that. This is simple code for setting the value. Like that you can build any logic, but you need to know the complete engine classes. Otherwise, you cannot do. String is that is not properly coded by double quote. So let's make it.
First statement also.
Oh, saying about first statement. About find page in product.
I think you may have to provide single quote, Subhas.
For this get, this is a clipboard property. In the clipboard property we have set value. So now the issue here is saying cannot convert clipboard page and tools dot find page. Clipboard cannot convert, cannot be resolved to a type. Clipboard page, clipboard page. find page object is on. Oh, sorry, clipboard page. This is a clipboard page, not clipboard. Okay, so I mistakenly written this wrong. Clipboard. This is a clipboard page. So find page, and then I'm setting the value, and then here temporary property dot set value. So for this you need to have both Java skills as well as to write, but it is not recommended, just to show that I'm showing. Success clipboard new product. You can see price is 1000. Okay, that's how you can use the Java coding, but for that you need to have some idea on the engine coding. Otherwise you cannot write any Java coding. You cannot get it because system won't help you anything anyway. Even if you write any small mistakes, anything, this won't help you here anyway. Okay.
So
But anyway,
one more question I have. So instead of writing the engine Java code, suppose some utility classes, if you want to implement update conversions or something else.
So yeah, you can write Java coding. So in that case also somehow you need to connect to Pega only, right? So where do you get the way? How do you get?
My question is, can we import any jar file into this Pega, and can we refer that?
Yeah, when you import, you can refer it. So when you import it, already that will be available. So it will be, if you have a Java class, directly you can use the Java class here. So when you import it, so you don't need to mention specifically any libraries or something. You can directly use that class. Okay. So that we will see tomorrow. Already running out of time. So so we'll continue this and we'll see. Okay.
Bye.
Yeah. Snehal and Shiva, can you join once again? I'm quitting the message. Sorry, I'm quitting the meeting, and you can join once again.